Hey, good evening. This is Tim here. We are back again for Friday evening, and you're going to have to pardon me. This might be a little bit rushed because I just walked in the door literally. I had to go out to Lowe's because I've got a circuit breaker box project coming up. I got to do some electrical work, and I left at 5:30, and I thought I'd be back about 6:30 or 7. No, it was like 7:45. So I'm still trying to get composed here, but we got started just right on time. And we don't have a whole lot going on. Um, I do want to mention we're streaming 24 frames per second again, just once more. The playback last night looked pretty decent. Somebody who was watching complained that it didn't look so good, so we'll kind of see what happens. And it's possible over the weekend we may do some pre-recorded clips so I can upload 720p. So it's all experimenting, trying to see what we can pull off here with the bandwidth we have. I got heat advisories all the way from Texas to the southern part of Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. It's not particularly hot. If I move down to the south, you can see we've only got like 82, 93, but the dew points are very high. See, 77, 76, that's way up there, so you're going to get some pretty high temperature humidity indexes with that. You notice the backdoor front coming in. Here we got Kansas, here we got Oklahoma, and all we have to do is just look at the winds to see that air flowing south. And we covered that the past couple of days when we saw that wave moving through Montana and the Dakotas, and the high pressure in its wake has pushed south. So the leading edge is going to be something like this. Looks like that's been enough to trigger a few thunderstorms. We got one little storm symbol there near Pampa, some more in the Ozarks of Arkansas, nothing really in between. So we may have a bit of a cap in place over Oklahoma. We can probably check that out on the sounding charts. In fact, I guess we can do so right now. Sounding links will go to Norman, Oklahoma. And let's check that out. This is going to be 12C. We still don't have the evening data in yet, but we can just modify this because the upper air is not going to change a whole lot. So let me go back to the surface chart, see what numbers we had. We'll say 95 over 70. So to modify that, we're going to use 35 and 21. So we bring the temperature up to dry about like that, and the moisture like that. This has no positive area at all. However, we don't have thunderstorms. So something has happened there. It's possible that parcel may not be completely representative of Oklahoma. Well, we do have a few showers. Okay. Let's see what kind of showers we have. Very isolated. So not much of anything. So most likely what's happened is we've probably these 70s are kind of a fluke, and the actual mixed dew points are probably a little bit cooler than that, a little bit less moist. Because that's the only thing that would explain the storm's not firing. We've probably got parcels, something like that, just barely enough to break the cap, but not doing that. Alright, let's see what else do we have going on. Flooding across the Four Corners area, so the monsoon is in full effect, and red flag advisory is coming back into effect in the northern Great Basin. And just a quick overall look at the radar. Most of the showers we have are way out in Missouri. Probably a little less capping out there. And I was going to check that out on the radar, but I probably don't want to disrupt the bandwidth that we have, the streaming, and they're not going to be too interesting to look at. They look very clustered and multicellular. I can probably just use College DuPage's radar. Well, that's composite. We don't want to look at composite. We want to check out the actual radar sites. Because the composites are built from all levels, and that's going to kind of distort what we're looking at when we're checking out the structure of these storms. It's going to wash out temperature or reflectivity gradients. However, here we're looking at strictly base reflectivity, so we're not going to have that problem. And these storms look maybe a little bit on the severe side. The highest reflectivities are off on the eastern and northern edge. So this probably is behaving a little bit more like the pulse thunderstorms that you might have heard about in the 80s or in 90s. So kind of like marginally severe is what we're seeing here. And those should probably diminish after dark. Nothing going on as far as hurricanes. They're calling for some new development off the coast of West Florida. Earl has dissipated, and we would expect from what we saw of the GFS yesterday, the moisture is probably going to be piling across the eastern Mexico coastline over the next few days, and then eventually around midweek it'll probably make it up into Texas. Might see a slight increase in thunderstorm activity. And then we're going to look at the upper air patterns. Upper air patterns, I'm losing my voice here. We'll set this at 0Z. You can see that wave that we had over the Dakotas yesterday, that has pushed eastward. So that's out over the Great Lakes. We're going to expect to see high pressure at the surface somewhere around the Dakotas or Minnesota, and that's going to drive a lot of the cool air southward, like we're seeing in Kansas today. Have some new troughing off the west coast, and we're going to probably see that intensify as we go into next week. And by midweek, it's starting to look pretty reasonable that we're going to have a trough affecting at least Kansas, maybe the Texas Panhandle. You see we're picking up a bit of faster 40-50 knot flow there at 250. So maybe even Oklahoma, this area here, we're going to watch for severe weather possibilities there. The more you accelerate your upper level winds, the higher your bulk shears, and the more long-lived your storm cells. You tend to get a variety of severe weather structures. Looks like we got a bit of a tailwind jet coming in here. This is getting out towards the 14th, so this is pretty far out. But it looks like the patterns get a little bit more active. Very meridional pattern here going into the end of next week. And I think that's about it. Like I said, I was going to kind of cut this short because I've not quite organized here. Here you got the sea breeze coming into Texas. These are going to be dying off for the next hour or two. And one little cell out near Shreveport. I was able to see that way off in the distance to the east when I was out driving. Okay, so that's going to be our program for today, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.